welcome to Maverrik Live. I am your host Luke too, and today I'm joined by Vasco Patello.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm fantastic, thanks for asking. How are you? You good?
I'm good.
Doing well?
Good. Doing well. Ready for
this conversation we're going to have.
Yep, and the day's work. So ready to go.
You've had a strong week. You want to continue going on with it?
I wouldn't say strong week, but okay, let's not talk about that.
So today we're talking about social thought leadership. I'm talking to Vasco about this predominantly because you've got a following online. You've got like a cult of followers around you, like the Vasco Patello. I see everyone's commenting, "Oh, hello Vasco, great to see you."
35,000.
You're a very personable person. So we're going to be talking essentially what is social thought leadership. Other than just like the buzzword of what it is, what it contains, and how people can start achieving it. Because at the end of next month, on the 28th of September, we've got a free webinar all about being a social thought leader, which I recommend going to, signing up for that one. So first of all, Vasco, what does the phrase social thought leadership mean to you?
Interesting question, because all this came into being, in my belief, it all came into being with Steve Jobs, where all of a sudden, you have this guy dressed in a black sweater, blue jeans.
You mimic the look. He's wearing jeans.
And everything this guy said became influential. People quoted him, and in his day, he was like Elon Musk today.
Yeah.
Everything this guy said was like the Bible. And what then went on to is that a younger generation came into social media and started to replicate his style and the style. And then business leaders thought, hang on, I should be doing this. I want to have, an influence on the industry I belong to show that I've got the know-how for this.
Yeah.
So they started putting out things that would show they were knowledgeable, that they were different from all the others in the market, and people started listening to them and starting quoting them and using them as the person to go to.
Yeah, around the same time as, like you said, Steve Jobs, social media started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. People generated followings. And from that, people had the figure of, oh, you've got this many like MySpace followers, you've got this many YouTube subscribers. And then the amount that generated had more and more people were following these people. It created influencers. Yeah. And then those influencers then held not just the ability to communicate to a large audience, it had the ability then to start swaying business. Like you said with Elon Musk now today, he tweets something, and it can make or break a small business in a sense, couldn't it? And crypto itself. So what's happened is those social media tools has like created these giants of people talking to like their followings and then creating and influencing business.
But it's also created a problem, which we didn't have before. We were limited to a very small number of people that were influencers. Now it's a huge number of people.
Yeah.
And they get followings sometimes just by the way they look, not by what they say, by the way they portray themselves in certain situations. So the real thought leaders that you need have to be very, very creative, and they need to stand out of the crowd. And this has to do with something that we spoke just before we came on camera, which was about, for example, buzzwords.
Yeah.
Create something that people, when they hear or see, they know it's you.
Yeah.
You are the basis of all of this. And don't be repeating what other people are being repeating. You have to be different.
It's the old method of using like slogans, catchphrases, I'm loving it, things like that, like associate you with yourself, but doing it in a natural way in a sense. I feel like if someone was seeing all of these Maverrik Lives and I started doing, hello and welcome, I've started doing that now. And it seems like every time I do a live now, I do it just from doing it. Anyway, it wasn't like a thing, but going on time, if this become like a very popular show going down the line, people would associate that sort of phrase with yourself, and you can do that online with I wouldn't say start your own hashtags because that's a nightmare. Don't do that. When you're starting out, people try and use hashtags for themselves and try and generate their own hashtags, but without a following, it usually falls flat. you need time to build and create those buzzwords and those catchphrases, like you said.
Yeah.
But buzzwords is kind of like a derogatory term for it. I would say it's more of a
Catchphrase?
associated word for you, because people overuse buzzwords to get traction.
Well, let me say something which you know as well as I do about this. Everything about thought leadership has also got to do with consistency, and not giving up. People tend to start something very quickly and then just let it die out. They forget that consistency and always hammering that away will get you seen, will get you promoted, will get you quoted.
Yeah.
And that's, at the end of the day, as a leader in your industry, as a captain of your industry, that's what you want. And when I say buzzwords, we've got words like shock and awe, land and expand. I wouldn't even mention the other one, which some people saw in some other video. What else have we got? Spray and pray.
Yeah, all of these terms which people associate with actions in a sense.
And we got the 7 steps.
Yeah.
And when we talk, for example, on LinkedIn about Maverrick's 7 steps, the majority of people that follow everybody at Maverrik know what we are talking about. And when we already got people quoting, you should do the 7 steps. People already know, or they go, what's the 7 steps? They'll Google the 7 steps, and it'll show that it's Maverrik that's got the 7 steps and what it's all about. So this is one of the things. The other thing is you should consistently post good content on whatever social media you're using. You should do very, very good eye-catching content.
Yeah, you can't be a social thought leader if you don't have any social thoughts out there on the platform.
No, you can't just go around sharing things from someone else. People must know that this is what you represent.
Yeah.
So you have to put that out there.
So when it comes to creating content, generating content, and posting it out there, you need to be doing it daily. You need to be consistently posting something out. That's what you were saying. You need to be showing your face on the platform consistently, and then also trying to be yourself and be original with it. Because I feel a lot of times people try and replicate the success of other influencers out there. They see the path they've taken and they try and emulate it or try and do the same moves, and they might do it really well, but they never reach that same level of success. But I feel that's because of authenticity in a sense.
Yep, because you have to create credibility.
Yeah.
That is very, very important. When people see you, they don't see you as a joker, they see you as someone that knows everything about the sphere of that industry.
And that's why people have joined them in the first place, was because they are very knowledgeable in their field, and they've gone out there and been like, okay, I've surrounded myself with everything I know. I've created a following, first of all, not just for fans, but actually just started talking to the community, sharing thoughts, sharing ideas. And then from that, they've created like a base for themselves to, go up to a higher platform.
It's got to do with the letter W. It's called wisdom. People come to you for your wisdom. Yeah. And people will believe you that what you say is true, is right, and will make a difference in their lives or in their business. So creating that becomes very, very important. And as I said, all of this is done through content.
And it's hard to do because you have, like you said, so many people doing it. Because it's so accessible now, everyone's trying to put their name out there, get those people watching, get those viewers in, and trying to share their wisdom. Like even people with the wisdom and all the knowledge don't reach that far because either they don't believe in themselves or what they're saying, or because they don't know how to use the social media tools to put themselves out there.
Or they have a huge problem, which is another thing that if you want to be a thought leader, you need, is you have to know your audience, your target audience. And we had, I won't say names, but probably you remember when I say about this, we had someone that was an expert, and a really good person in terms of knowledge on the on change.
Yeah.
And he was having huge difficulties because the way he portrayed himself, the way he spoke to people was totally different from what they expected. And why? He was a person that was nearly 70 years old, talking to young CEOs, and they couldn't get through because the language was completely different. He was talking to 20-year-olds with a 70-year-old language that didn't fit. They looked at him, they saw that he was a wise person, but they saw this as like a university professor.
Right, okay.
So he couldn't get through.
Yeah.
So once he was telling me, I feel frustrated because I want to talk to these people. I know what I've got to tell them, and they don't want to hear me. Why?
Yeah.
And when we did the change here on his profile for him to look friendlier, to look younger, and to freshen up his message, the expert of change couldn't change himself.
Yeah, it was a tough. I mean, I know what you were talking about. When people are stuck in their ways of doing things which aren't yielding the same results,
because you don't know your audience.
You need to change. You need to like try and take a look at what you've got and your knowledge and say, okay, how do I change this so I can reach a better audience for it? Because currently, I guess his audience have either stopped working or it's just completely changed in itself. And it is ironic, but it is a change company. But it's hard to do when you're set in those certain ways of doing things. And I feel like the biggest part of being a social thought leader is knowing that things change, how to change with them, and how to leverage that change in order to gain, the following.
You got it in a nutshell. That's it.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for coming down, Vasco.
You're very welcome.
And thank you all for watching Maverrik Live. We'll be back on Friday for our next show. Don't forget to subscribe to us to be notified whenever we go live. And follow us on LinkedIn as well, where you can find a lot of social selling tips that way. Thank you, Vasco, for coming down.
You're very welcome. And I hope to see you again.
Yeah, you will see me again. And we will see you next time on Maverrik Live.